Have you ever stopped to think that the greatest human loneliness isn't about losing someone, but about looking up at the sky and finding no answer? For centuries, we believed we were nothing more than an isolated accident, a lonely dot lost in the cosmic void. But now, a bold discovery challenges that belief. What if we're standing before a planet that carries almost absolute certainty of life? James Webb may have changed the game forever. And this isn't science fiction, it's science happening right now. The paradox is striking. The more we try to distance ourselves from the idea of being special, the more the universe insists on showing us that maybe we aren't alone. The controversy is already here. If life exists out there, our religions, our philosophies, and even the way we see Earth itself will need a complete reset. And the most counterintuitive part of all is that this discovery doesn't make us smaller, it makes us greater. Because the immediate reward is already in front of us, the chance to finally see the cosmos as a community, not as a prison. And curiosity, of course, is irresistible. After all, what does it mean to find a planet with a 99.7% chance of hosting life? What molecules are these? What invisible message has the universe decided to send us? And if every scientific impact is also a personal one, capable of changing the way you see your own story, then get ready. What you're about to hear may be the greatest shift in perspective of your life. It's fascinating how certain revelations arrive without warning, changing everything in a matter of seconds, as if the world suddenly pulled back an unexpected curtain right before our eyes. Imagine opening a routine medical exam and being faced with a result you never expected, something hidden but suddenly revealed, transforming the way you see life. That's exactly what it felt like when James Webb detected the presence of a molecule called DMS, dimethyl sulfide. Here on Earth, this compound is only produced by living organisms, mainly tiny ocean creatures we hardly ever think about. Now imagine the impact of seeing this chemical signature on a planet light years away, like a secret message revealed by the cosmos itself. It's as if the universe had sent us a letter, written in invisible ink, visible only under the right spectrum of light. An invitation to rethink everything we thought we knew about cosmic loneliness. But Webb didn't stop there. Along with DMS, it also detected methane and water vapor, as if the universe had carefully laid out clues on a table, waiting for someone curious enough to decipher them. This combination is powerful because it isn't just a single isolated hint that could easily be dismissed. It's a harmonious set of signals that, together, point to something much greater. Think of the difference between hearing a lone violin and listening to a full orchestra playing in perfect harmony. Each instrument adds depth, strength, and clarity to the music. In the same way, when these signals appear side by side, the odds of them being a coincidence drop dramatically. We're no longer facing a simple maybe, but an almost certain with real scientific weight. And that changes everything, because what once was mere speculation now becomes a tangible possibility of life beyond Earth. Something that always belonged to the realm of dreams, but now comes closer to reality. Now think about your own life. How many times have you noticed small details that once combined revealed a completely new picture in front of you? Maybe it was that seemingly casual conversation which, when joined with gestures and silences, revealed someone's true intentions. Or maybe it was a diagnosis that only became clear when different tests pointed in the same direction, taking away all doubt and turning it into certainty. Science works like this. A single signal might be just noise, two signals grab attention, but three together become a message you simply can't ignore. And that's exactly what Webb has found, not a faint whisper lost in the cosmic wind, but a clear voice echoing from a distant world. Yet beneath it all, an even bigger question begins to take shape. If we've already uncovered this now, what other secrets are still hidden, waiting to be revealed in the next observations? When we think about habitability, we almost always use Earth as the gold standard, as if it were the ultimate reference point for what is or isn't possible when it comes to life. But Webb pushes us to question that idea because the planet it observed, called K2-18b, seems to have conditions even more stable than what we know here. This world has an atmosphere dominated by hydrogen, which acts like a true cosmic blanket. Imagine trying to sleep on a cold night with just a thin sheet, always uncomfortable, never able to fully relax. Now compare that with the feeling of wrapping yourself in a duvet that keeps the temperature just right. Not too cold, not too hot, simply perfect. That's the difference between what Earth provides and what K2-18b might offer. An extraordinary stability that could last for trillions of years. This changes the game because stability is the most valuable currency when it comes to life. Earth, for all its beauty, has endured mass extinctions, violent climate shifts, ice ages, and sudden warmings that nearly snuffed out its spark of life. In contrast, a planet like K2-18b might remain in balance for spans of time that the human mind can barely comprehend. It's like living in a house built on solid rock, one that doesn't shake even in the strongest earthquakes, while we live in a home built on unstable ground, constantly at risk of sudden tremors. That predictability creates an environment where life doesn't just survive, it thrives in peace, without fear of abrupt interruptions. It's as if nature had gifted some worlds with a lasting calm that we, here on Earth, never truly had. Now think about it. How many times have you wished for a life with fewer upheavals, where things weren't so unpredictable? Imagine not having to worry about sudden crises, unexpected illnesses, or losses that strike without warning. That's the feeling a planet like K2-18b gives us, the sense of a guaranteed future, of an existence that unfolds slowly and steadily, like a river that flows gently and never runs dry. And this idea stirs our imagination, because if there's a world more stable than Earth, wouldn't it be an even better cradle for life than our own planet? This question leads us to something even more fascinating. How did Webb manage to see all this in such a distant world, using only the light that reaches us? The James Webb doesn't look at a faraway planet as if it were a sharp, high-resolution photograph. It sees in another way, by decoding the secrets hidden within the light itself. Here's how it works. When the star shines and the planet passes in front of it, part of the starlight filters through the planet's atmosphere before reaching us. That light carries chemical fingerprints, like a secret note revealed only to those who know how to read the right codes. It's a process called transmission spectroscopy, but don't let the name intimidate you. It's like smelling fresh coffee coming from the kitchen without even stepping inside the room. You don't see the coffee maker, but you instantly know what's happening just by the unmistakable aroma. The challenge, though, is the noise. Imagine trying to catch a whisper in the middle of a noisy crowd where everyone is talking at once. The information about the planet's atmosphere is there, but it's tiny, almost drowned out by the overwhelming brightness of the star. Webb, with its ultra-sensitive instruments, works like that one friend who can pick up on even the softest comment in a chaotic room. It amplifies the details, filters out what doesn't matter, and reveals what truly counts. Suddenly, what seemed like a faint, indistinguishable point of light becomes a full story about gases, molecules, and the possibility of life. It's like turning a messy doodle into a painting that tells an entire story. In the end, this isn't so different from our daily lives. Think about how many times you've noticed subtle signs that revealed more than the words themselves. Maybe it was someone's look that exposed a hidden feeling, or even a well-timed pause in a sentence that revealed the truth behind their speech. Small details, almost invisible, can carry enormous messages. Webb works in exactly that way. It pays attention to what most people would overlook, and from there it extracts groundbreaking information. And if we can already pick up the scent of these clues in distant atmospheres, imagine what will happen once we take the next step and achieve even greater precision. In science, numbers tell stories as powerful as words, and one number stood out in this discovery: 99.7%. That percentage represents the level of confidence scientists have that the signals observed are not random chance, but something real. They call this 3 sigma, but don't worry about the technical term. Think of it this way. It's like flipping a coin 1,000 times and seeing it land on heads 997 times. At some point, the impossible starts to feel inevitable. This level of certainty is unusual for early discoveries, which makes this finding even more striking. We're not talking about loose guesses here, but about a number that practically shouts consistency. Now bring that idea into real life. How many decisions have you made with far less certainty than that? Often, we accept a job, get married, move to a new city, or even choose an investment based on feelings and much lower odds. Maybe you've taken a big step with only 60% confidence, or risked something believing you had a 70% chance of success. And here's the irony. When facing one of humanity's oldest questions, are we alone in the universe, we now have almost 100% certainty that the answer could be no. That contrast between our uncertain choices and the weight of this number is what gives this discovery such a poetic tone. But of course, this number isn't a final answer, it's an invitation. If 99.7% is already so convincing, what will happen when we reach 99? 9% or even 100%. It's like standing in front of a door that leads into a new reality, with just a small crack of doubt keeping us alert. And it's precisely that crack that drives science to keep going. After all, if we've already reached this level of confidence, what else will we be able to confirm in the coming years? And what if these signals aren't just from simple life, but from something far more complex than we ever imagined? When it comes to conditions for life, temperature is always a decisive factor in the debate. On K218b, scientists estimate around 49 degrees Celsius. That's about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. At first glance, it might sound extreme, almost unbearable. But when we translate it into human experiences, the perception changes. Think of a scorching summer day when the heat feels almost tangible, yet still tolerable as long as there's shade and water nearby. Or picture the comfort of a warm bath where the heat surrounds the body in an intense but not destructive way. This temperature range might be uncomfortable for us during long exposures, but it's nothing beyond what life already knows, and in many cases, even thrives on. After all, living organisms on Earth already prosper in far more extreme environments. We have bacteria that survive in boiling hot springs, fish that swim in nearly frozen waters, and plants that withstand burning deserts. Life has an incredible capacity for adaptation, molding itself to whatever conditions are available, like an artist learning to paint on any canvas they're given. So when we think of 49 degrees, we shouldn't imagine an insurmountable obstacle, but rather a plausible stage, one where life could perform without major difficulties. It's as if the universe had set the thermostat at a level that doesn't drive guests away, but instead creates an environment where everyone feels both challenged and welcomed at the same time. And this realization opens the door to something deeper. If the conditions on this planet resemble those we already know, could we be looking at a cosmic mirror of our own history? It's like visiting a foreign city and suddenly finding familiar dishes on the menu, flavors that warm the heart. That kind of familiarity sparks a sense of closeness, as if the distance of light years shrank through the simple recognition of experiences we've already had here on Earth. But if we can already see ourselves reflected in something so far away, then perhaps the bigger question isn't just, is there life out there, but what kind of life could flourish under conditions so similar to ours? A silent loneliness has followed humanity since the very beginning, the doubt about whether we are alone in the universe. Every gaze at the starry sky has always carried that mix of wonder and melancholy, like someone searching for a sign that they're not the only traveler in this vastness. When James Webb detects signals that resemble the breath of another world, something within us shifts. It's no longer just a scientific matter, it becomes an existential one. It's like carrying a struggle for years, believing no one else understands your pain, until you find out that somewhere, someone has lived through the same thing. Suddenly the sense of being unique gives way to the comfort of community. You're no longer alone, and that changes absolutely everything. This discovery touches on one of humanity's oldest wounds, the fear of being irrelevant. For so long, we believed we were at the center of everything. Then we learned we were just an ordinary planet, orbiting an ordinary star in a galaxy among billions. Each scientific advance seemed to shrink our importance, but paradoxically, it drew us closer to something greater. If we now have signs that we're not alone, the question is no longer about being the center, but about belonging to a network. It's like realizing that your solitary voice, echoing in an empty auditorium, suddenly finds other voices singing the same song. We don't lose value by not being alone. On the contrary, we gain the chance to share meaning, and that perspective opens a door to reflections that go far beyond science. If we are no longer a solitary accident, what does that mean for our beliefs, for our philosophy, for the way we treat each other here on Earth? Maybe the real lesson isn't just about looking outward, but about learning to build community here among ourselves. After all, if a faint breath from a distant planet can bring us so much comfort, imagine the power of a gesture of solidarity that's close, real, and human. That's the bridge that begins to take shape. By recognizing companionship in the universe, we also start to value more deeply the companionship we already have. But if we're only at the beginning of this journey, what comes next may be even more astonishing. If we're already impressed by what we've seen, it's worth remembering that James Webb is just the beginning of this new era. It opened the door, but even more powerful observatories are being prepared to walk through it. The future holds telescopes capable of analyzing exoplanet atmospheres with a level of detail that today feels impossible. It's like being handed an old, faded map full of markings and then finding out you're about to receive a 3D digital version, updated in real time. We're standing on the eve of a revolution that will turn science fiction into daily headlines, bringing to the front page of newspapers what once lived only in novels and futuristic films. These next steps won't just confirm biosignatures, but will also hunt for technosignatures, signs of advanced civilizations that may have already left their mark on the cosmos. It may sound bold, but think about it. If we can already detect invisible molecules trillions of kilometers away, why not also traces of technology, energy, or communication? It's like finding a footprint in the sand, and then beginning to search for campfires, shelters, or even roads. Each new scientific tool expands our horizon, and with every step forward, we come closer to answers that once felt unreachable. At this point, science isn't only about collecting data, it's about building bridges between imagination and reality. And maybe the most fascinating part is this: we are alive, right now, at the turning point. Countless generations dreamed of this possibility, gazing at the sky with unanswered questions. And now, here we are, witnessing the first concrete signs. It's like being present at the very moment humanity lights a new torch in the darkness, illuminating not just the universe around us, but the meaning of our own existence. But if this torch already shines with Webb, what will happen when the next telescopes light up too? After everything we've explored, it becomes impossible to look at the sky the same way. If the universe is already giving us such clear signs of life, what excuse do we have to keep living small here on Earth? Every cosmic discovery is also an intimate mirror, showing you that you can go beyond the limits you always thought you had. The question is, will you ignore that calling, or will you allow yourself to grow alongside this new horizon? Think about how many collisions or unexpected changes have already transformed your life. How many times has something that looked like pure chaos turned out to be the seed of a new beginning? Maybe that's the greatest lesson of the cosmos. There is no final ending, only transitions that lead us to something greater. If the universe has the courage to reinvent itself after every impact, why should you stay trapped in the fear of change? So what's stopping you from taking the next step right now? And here's the invitation. If this content made you stop and think, don't let the journey end here. Share in the comments which part resonated with you the most and how it connects to your own life. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep walking with me through this cosmic and existential exploration, because the next discoveries won't just change science, they might also transform the way you live.